So my name's Norman. I started a nonprofit company last year fundraising for childhood cancer, specifically from the Fort Island. So I wanted to be a bigger part of the whole childhood cancer community. I'm an alumni here. I was never a part of Thon as a dancer, as a moraler. I sat in the stands as a spectator all the way back dating to when it was at Rec Hall to now in Bryce Jordan, and always wanted to do more. Be a bigger part of the tradition here at Penn State, and my idea would be to start locally in the Philadelphia area where I'm from and fundraise and try to become a new national company. That's what I want to do. I want to be a bigger, better Relay for Life, and that's always been my goal since the idea had come up. Well, I had named my cause Coast to Coast for the Kids, and that was before I decided to walk across the country. I thought it would be neat to use that name as a double meaning, and then I decided to walk across the country. So at first I just wanted to fundraise in different cities and travel, which I really enjoy doing, obviously. And then it wasn't going very well at first, just slow. Who am I? I don't even have a nonprofit background, a business background. I am a personal trainer, a running coach, and a health and wellness coach by career. So for me to start this out of nowhere was not efficient as far as being successful. So I decided, let's do a publicity stunt, walk across the country. Something that's always been in the back of my head anyway. Everybody has something in the back of their head. Skydiving, backpack across Europe, visit a place, something like that. Mine has always been walk across the country. For whatever reason, I don't even know. It's just something that fascinates me. So I quit my job. I rented my house. I found someone to watch my dog for going on 14 months now, and I still have another month till I'm done this, so it'll be 15 months overall. All this stuff makes me sad. I was stressed out, and but I was going to do it no matter what. So I moved to California last July. I left Philadelphia, moved in with my aunt and uncle, had nothing to go with. Was looking for sponsors, any which way to get things for free. Ended up developing a website. Everything came together beautifully, and because of my fitness background, I was able to train in a progressive manner that I could get ready for this cross-country walk. I kind of treated it like a marathon, but at a much greater level. So April 5th, I started out of San Francisco. I had taken a bus up from LA where I was staying, and it all began. And it hit me really hard that day. It was a really cool thing. Just emotions were through the roof, and I started walking. I had planned everything except for where I was going. It was really interesting. I don't like to have an agenda. I don't like to plan ahead as far as schedules, and I could never work an 8 to 4 job. Some people enjoy that. I can't. It's not in my blood to do things like that. So I wanted to travel more. And this is one thing like I said, I was fascinated enough to step out of that window of opportunity and try something new, and to benefit the greater good. Childhood cancer. I mean, we're all here for that reason. I couldn't think of anything better to do this for. So I leave out of San Francisco, and I was exhausted 2 days later. All the training that I did, trained for 9-10 months, and I still was already beaten and battered 2 days into the trip. I make it to the Sierra Nevadas through California, get to Lake Tahoe, and then I'm in the desert, Nevada. So up in the back there on the left, you can see a little stroller. If you guys saw that walking in, I bought a jogging stroller in Carson City to carry more water, because towns are 120, 130 miles apart. And I was camping just on the side of the road, behind bushes, trees, ditches, tunnels, wherever I could find shelter, get away from the sun. 6-7 days at a time, rationing food, water, and phone battery, just because I had to keep on social media, keep people interested. I didn't have a single bit of help from day one. Made it all the way to Colorado before people started joining, helping, volunteering, wanted to make this a more successful mission. I made about $4,000 in the first 2.5 months, all the way up to the Colorado border, and that's where I started developing a team of volunteers. A lady I met in Colorado, a lady in Allentown, a lady in Washington, D.C. I introduced them all on Facebook, and together, collectively, the 4 of us started making phone calls. Media trials, let's start capturing some newspapers, let's get a radio show. I'd already done 3 TV interviews, San Francisco, Sacramento, and Reno. and then getting to Colorado, it was like, well, let's keep that going. People are interested. I've already killed the desolate areas of the country, and I'm about to hit the Rocky Mountains. And after that, you know what, fundraising is going to be a much stronger effort. So we started calling towns, and since Pueblo, Colorado, which is southeast Colorado, I've camped one night since that day. So the past three and a half months, I've been under a roof with people feeding me. Before that, the first 76 days, I think, 76 or 77, I camped all but 5. So I was just in the elements for a long time. And you know what? I wanted it to be that way. I wanted it to be a progressive effort, and I wanted it to become more interesting down the road. Because I wanted it to be, and again, this is not relative whatsoever to childhood cancer, but I wanted there to be parallels. I wanted to struggle at times, and then I wanted to develop a support team, and then I wanted to end in Atlantic City with a finale. You know, when a child becomes cancer-free, it's the best day of a family's life. And again, like I said, it's not relative, but there are parallels. So when I have conversations with families, we talk about the same things. I tell them every single day is the longest day of my life. I walk 8 to 11 hours a day, but the weeks, the months, consecutive months, they just fly by. I really don't even, I think I started yesterday is what it feels like anyway. But I also feel like I started 10 years ago. I mean, it's just the strangest feeling. I can't. I mean, it's kind of like a work week. All of a sudden it's Friday. The whole week, day to day, took long, but by the end of the week, it flew by. So all the support that I got along the way, I started developing a more successful mission, and to date, I've raised $37,000. Along with the phone calls I had with all the Four Diamonds families, I talked to 30 of them, and I don't know any of them personally. I just know their stories, and we share stories about what I'm doing, what they're doing, and it's just been really neat because morale-wise, I don't know if I could have done this just for fun. I don't know if I could have just crossed the country without that third-party motivation. The fact that I have been successful in raising money, which has been great, but for the families to help and the support that I got along the way, and the volunteers to help me find that support, you know, I was able, and I'm not done yet. I still have just under 300 miles to go, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself. There's still, I mean, anything can happen. I've always been worried about injury and weather. I can't even begin to tell you how crazy the thunderstorms and the tornado warnings, the hailstorms that I've walked through without shelter because there was nowhere to go. And going back to where I was sleeping, I would find tunnels underneath the road, and that's where I would sleep just to get out of the way of rain. But if the rain got too bad, I had to leave the tunnel or I'd get flooded away. So it was just bizarre situations all the time. And one of the greatest things that's happened this whole trip was the president of the Pittsburgh Pirates is a Penn State alum, Frank Conley. I'm sure some of you are from Pittsburgh. He's a great guy. He called me on my cell phone when I was just outside of Columbus walking through, and he said, we would like you to come throw the first pitch out of the Pirates game if you're coming through during the home series. Well, what happened that I made it to the Cubs last weekend. I threw the first pitch on Sunday, and they raised $14,000 for me by themselves. The Pirates did a 50-50 raffle for little old me, and I just thought that was the best boost that I could have gotten in the home stretch where I'm about to finish. I thought, you know, having $22,000 in the bank was fun, but when I left that Pirates stadium, they didn't even tell me they were doing it for me. I had to hear it for myself over the loudspeaker, and I think they did that on purpose just to kind of make the hair on my arms stand up. It was really unbelievable. So that's kind of how the progression of the trip developed and went on. Some logistics of the trip. To date, I've gone 3,022 miles, and I have about 280 to go to Atlantic City. I'll be done on October 11th, 6 months and 1 week exactly. I planned 7.5 months to do it, and I'm finishing way ahead of schedule. And I'm actually spending like three and a half days here, just because I'm killing time. I'm way ahead, so I thought I'd hang out with you guys a little bit. But I got to go to the game yesterday, which was fun. So I've walked 6.4 million steps. I wear a Fitbit every day, and so that's just crazy. I mean, being a personal trainer myself, I try to get my clients. Most of it is weight management stuff. I don't train bodybuilders. It's all weight management. but I'm trying to get people to walk 8 to 10,000 steps a day. That's a struggle for a lot of people, especially sedentary people. But I average 52,000 a day. And for my body to hold up, if anyone here is a runner, just think like you run your first half marathon or marathon, you're sore for a week or two, and it's crazy. I walk a marathon every single day, and I surprise myself every single day that that's even possible, because it seems like injury is just right around the corner at all times. And I think just the uplifting spirit of people and the morale behind this entire mission is what's kept me safe. It really, really has, in my opinion. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. Because again, if I was doing this for no reason by myself, I might just take my time and not schedule things and events and not push myself and worry about the food and water, which I ran out of multiple times. And a lot of this was dangerous, but like I said, the support system came in and really pushed me along. Other logistics. Is there any questions about what I've said so far? Anyway, anything anyone wants to know right off the bat? Maybe. I brought my 9th pair of shoes. I'm wearing, this is the last day of my 8th pair, and I lace them with gold shoelaces just as a constant reminder to myself to relate what I'm doing, walking, and then pediatric cancer ribbon, the gold ribbon. And I have shoelaces with me. I don't have enough for all of you, but I do hand them out to just complete strangers along the way and say, hey, you support me by wearing these. Maybe it'll encourage them to walk more too. I still have a background in fitness. I'm always trying to get people to move more. I started an event in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, where I live. I had over 500 people sign up to a walk virtually with me, where I provided every single one of them with a pedometer. And I had that all sponsored, so I didn't buy the pedometers. So Pfizer Pharmaceuticals bought the pedometers, which was great. But I have 500 people, and 30 of them have lost weight, 30 of them have, their decreased medications, whether it was blood pressure. There's so many different avenues of this trip. I can't even begin to explain to you how, my heart beats fast just thinking about it, because I just wanted to walk across the country 6 years ago. That's all I wanted to do. And to tie it in with something so great, and the better good, and the possibilities that could have come out of it that I didn't know until now, has been unbelievable. So what I want to end with is that I have collected along the way all these bracelets from kids all over the country. Some of them local have mailed me them, but I wear a different one weekly. I'm wearing mine right now. I just took off Emily Whitehead's. I just went out to dinner with the Whitehead family the other day, and that was unbelievable to meet their family. And I'm sure most of you know who they are. But I try to have as many constant reminders as possible while I'm out there trying to push me along, so I don't get demotivated. The struggle mentally is just as hard as it is physically, and emotionally is probably the most difficult part that I didn't even know would be an issue until I was already on the trip. So I look at these, I hang these from my cart, and I look at them every single day, and these are not just kids and their foundations and their causes. This collectively right here, to me, and what I hope, how I inspire people across the country, is to realize that this right here is a commitment for each one of these families and these organizations, just like yourselves here, you're an organization as well, that we work in the same sandbox. We are not competing, and there are a lot of organizations out there that are, and I hate the logistics behind the business of some of these cancer organizations that I've come across. I've been not welcomed in a lot of hospitals. I've not welcomed in a lot of places that are supposed to be, in my opinion, working together to help these kids stay positive and safe. And every time I get turned down from a place to visit, and granted, I'm sure there are things that go on where it's just not, I'm not supposed to be there for some reason, and that's okay. But I get the cold shoulder, so it makes me feel like that they don't want to work with other organizations, that they don't want to be a part of the better good, that they're just there, and money is probably the driving effort of their organization. So, like I said, I wear one of those bracelets every single day as a constant reminder to not fall down that path, because I want to be a successful fundraising charity for childhood cancer, specifically the Four Diamonds Research Facility down the line. And that's the most important thing, I think, in the whole mission, is to remind myself and others of that. We all know the statistics behind childhood cancer. #1 disease killer, average age of 6 years old for diagnosis, average age of 8 for death. 1 in 300 males, 1 in 333 females will be diagnosed before the age of 20. I mean, we could do this all day long. I mean, the statistics tell the story themselves. So that's why I'm walking, and that's why I'm going to continue to walk for the next 280 miles. And in years to come, I'm nowhere close to done with these adventure things. I'm going to do whatever, I guess you could call them idiotic or stupid or irresponsible. Most people think I'm crazy, but I'm going to continue to try to draw attention from the public, just to get a story. Every time I get a TV interview, the first question that they ask me, the first couple of questions they ask me, do you feel like Forrest Gump? How many pairs of shoes have you gone through? And these are the least important questions of the entire mission. But that's what draws attention, and that's kind of why I'm walking. If I was driving around the country saying, hey, statistics for childhood cancer are poor and we're underfunded, nobody pays attention. So I'm going to keep doing things. Next year I'm going to kayak down the Mississippi River. It's over 2,000 miles. The year after I'm going to hike around Ireland and try to get other countries involved. I will bike across the country. That takes about 2 months, 2.5 months, so I'll squeeze that in somewhere. But you know, I have fun with these adventures, the good times, the bad times, the weather permitted. You know, I'm going to walk through it, bike through it, swim through it, whatever I have to do. But I was very excited to be invited here today to meet a group of people, because there's not too many groups of people that I've met that already know things that I'm talking about, the statistics, that you're already an organization that supports childhood cancer, the fight against childhood cancer. Most of the crowds I talk to are, you know, the Chamber of Commerce or just local people in town want to know what the guy walking through town is doing. So, and that's my education to them. To you, it's just neat to see how we can work together. Like I said, we're all in the same sandbox. We're not on the outside trying to be the biggest, baddest organization that there is. It's just trying to promote for the better good. So that's what I'm doing, and I hope you guys will like my Facebook page and help me follow along the way. I've actually developed quite a few sponsors just from building likes on Facebook, which is crazy. I hate social media, but it's real and it's instantaneous and it's working. So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.